Hello, my name is Patrick the Butcher Cowan. I'm the president of British Columbia Arm Wrestling Association, an arm wrestler for 37 years and a WAF master referee. Today I'm here with my colleague, the most decorated arm wrestler in Canadian history, a WAF master referee for 30 years. He's traveled more than anyone, refereed more world champions than anyone in Canadian history, the legend David Hicks.
Thank you.
Today we're going over the rules and regulations of arm wrestling. We will be following Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation rules, so let's get to it. Okay, so now we're going to have an arm wrestling match on the right arm. The two competitors will come to the table. The first person's name called will have choice at table. The competitors will be asked to keep their elbows on the pad. The shoulders must be square. A grip must be achieved. The referee will check for the wrists to make sure that they're flat and that the thumb knuckles are exposed on both competitors. Once he confirms with the downside referee and ensures that this is center, the referee will issue a ready, go. During the match, the referee is looking for a pin. This is whereby the wrist, hand, or fingers go below the pin line. It doesn't necessarily have to touch the pad itself, but it has to go below the pin line. Now during the match, there might be some fouls. An elbow foul is where the elbow lifts off the pad. The referee will say stop and issue a elbow foul. During the match, an elbow may come off the side or the back of the pad. The referee will stop the match and issue a elbow foul. There is also slips. There's various slips. Here we see both competitors going for a slip, but they did maintain a grip, so that would be a strap match. Now, an intentional slip is where Dave is going with the closed fist grip. He's not trying to maintain any type of grip, so that would be an intentional foul. So that was an intentional closed fist slip. The other would be an underhand slip. You'll notice that Dave is sweeping underneath, not trying to maintain the grip, and that's an intentional slip out. Now the third is an open hand slip out. You'll notice that Dave is not only getting an elbow foul here, but he's opened his hand and he's slipped out. That's an open hand slip out. It's an intentional and it will be a foul. Now there's some dangerous positions in arm wrestling. We do not want to have any injuries in the sport of arm wrestling. Notice how Dave has looked away from his hand and his two shoulders have aligned, and he's putting pressure on the humerus. This will spirally torque, it will break, and it will be very painful, and it will cause damage to other parts of your body, not just the arm. So the referee will issue, look at your hand, or he may just stop the match immediately to prevent a broken arm. This does happen very quickly. Now the second move is what we call desperation or queen's move or king's move. You can call it what you want, but it's really ugly and it's really not how you want to learn how to arm wrestle. Now John, he's going to go into a desperation, queen's move, king's move. You'll notice that John is at center or past center and his shoulder is below the table. Now the referee will say stand up. He has to stand up immediately. Now, if he drops down after standing up, the referee will stop the match and issue a foul. Now, the same position, John's in a winning position. His shoulder is below the table. He's in a winning position or he's past the neutral position. This is still okay. Now, if Dave was to slowly pull him over into the neutral and past neutral position, John is still below the table. He's now in this dangerous position. The humerus is on a decline. He's below the table. We cannot permit this, and we will say stand up. If he doesn't stand up, we will issue stop, and that will be an instant foul. Safety is number one in arm wrestling. It's too easy to get hurt. This is a very complex sport. It takes years and years of training to condition the tendons, the ligaments, and it just takes one bad position to injure yourself and you won't be able to benefit from this amazing table. Now, if we move on to some other rules, shoulder over half. Now you'll notice that John is diving in and his shoulder has crossed the center line. That is a foul. We can't permit that. Another one would be the shoulder touching the hand. He dove into sort of a shoulder press, and you'll notice that the shoulder is actually touching the hand. Some competitors might cheat and touch his shoulder, but John is actually touching. So we'll stop. He's gained advantage by touching the shoulder onto the other athlete's hand, so that We won't permit that. Some of the other factors in arm wrestling are straps. This can be a tool, and of course, Royal Arm has provided us with a strap that can be used. Now, to put the straps on, it will take 2 referees. The second referee will position the webbings so that it's equal. He'll make sure that the hands are on the same angle. And with the assistance of a second referee, what we don't have today, the head referee will place the straps over the dorsal part of their palm, of their hands, and he'll ask the competitor high or low.
Low.
Now we're trying to determine the height of the strap, and that does assist the arm wrestler, whether it's top roll or hook. So I've adjusted this low for David. I will ask John high or low.
High.
So he wants it a little bit higher. You'll notice that we're using the fair strap. I'm cinching this up, and I'll confirm yes. Now the rule states that the strap itself can only go 1 inch below the wrist line. The strap itself is actually 1 inch. Okay? A lot of times you'll see the strap a lot lower than it really should be. Now, we like to take the strap and thread it through, maintaining tension on the strap. Never let it go loose. Okay? It creates too much opportunity for the arm wrestler. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling out and down. Tight enough? I confirm with the athletes. If the athletes do want it tighter, I'll tighten it. If one athlete says no and one says yes, then we'll just keep it as is. We will continue with the match. Make sure that the wrists are straight, the knuckles are exposed, the shoulders are square, the elbows are on the pad, and I will confirm with my second referee, and it'll be a ready go. I will actually drop down below the table to make sure I'm in a good eyesight for a pin. Stop. Winner. Now there's one other avenue of arm wrestling, and that's getting into the referee's grip. Some people want the referee's grip. It takes away from the other person's techniques. So in a referee's grip, first thing I will do is I will confirm with the competitor if they want their thumb capped. And you'll see that I'm covering my thumbnail with my index finger. And I'll confirm, yes, he does want it capped. I'll confirm here, he says he doesn't want it capped. So I'll just physically move my thumb on top of the index finger to confirm. And I'll also confirm with the downside referee so he also knows. In the referee's grip, of course, I will be assisted by a second referee. I want to make sure that there's center here. I'll issue a command of do not move the shoulders. Do not move the shoulders. Make sure they're square. If there's any movement in the shoulders, that's a foul movement in the referee's grip. That would be stop, one foul movement in the referee's grip. It's important that a second referee is helping here. We want to make sure that the webbings are close enough and that the angles of the hands are even. Now with this particular referee's grip, John wants his finger covered. I'm going to pull out on the fingers and close down. Do never turn the wrist in, okay? That pushes them into a hook position. So pull out on the fingers, close the hand over top of the thumb. Now David opted for under the thumb, so I'm going to close the hand and the thumb. Now I'll issue a ready go. Now during this, if there's any movement, if John was to turn in, if Dave was to just open his hand, or even tiny micro movements of the fingers at a national or a world level, that would be a foul. So I would issue a ready go, and the match would continue until the referee says stop and a win is achieved. Winner here. There are many other rules to arm wrestling, but those are the basics. You need to study the rules of arm wrestling to become a great arm wrestler. Get an arm wrestling table from Royal Arms, download the rules from Canadian Arm Wrestling Federation or your governing body, and learn how to arm wrestle.